Now that we've oriented the ground plane to match the photograph, we need to position it as well. I've saved my progress as orientedplane.psd. It's found inside the 17 camera folder. And I still have selected my camera tool. I can see the ground plane. I've got my 3D layer selected. Let's now go ahead and switch to the pan tool. And I find this tool to be more useful when dragging around inside the image window than the orbit tool. It's just a little easier to control. For example, if I want to move my view of the scene exactly downward, which is going to lift the scene upward, always bear in mind with the camera tool that you're changing your view of the scene, not necessarily the position of the object, then while dragging down with this tool, I would press the Shift key in order to invoke a perfectly vertical drag. I could also press the Shift key while dragging back and forth in order to invoke a perfectly horizontal drag. And that is something that I actually need to do where this scene is concerned. For example, I would like to set that green line, that green y-axis line, so that it runs through the exact center of my image. So I need a guideline at the center point. I'll go up to the View menu and choose New Guide. And I know that this image measures 1400 pixels wide, so I would select the vertical guide option. And I would enter half of 1400, which is 700. However, I just found this out. I have to admit to you, I didn't know after more than 20 years of using this product, I didn't know you could just enter 50% for the position value, and Photoshop would do the math for you. I just found that out from a member of my site, so we all live and learn every day. I'm going to go ahead and click OK in order to set that vertical guide right through the center of the image. And now, while dragging inside the scene, I'll press the Shift key and I'll drag to the left because I'm moving my view of the scene to the left and therefore moving the entire plane to the right until the green y-axis line lines up with that vertical guide. All right, then I might make some other modifications. I might move the scene back and forth. For example, let's say I want to move away from the scene. Then instead of pressing the Shift key, armed with this tool, I would go ahead and press the Alt key or the Option key on the Mac and drag downward. Now notice I'm kind of wobbling back and forth. If you want to constrain this drag, then add the Shift key. So Shift Alt drag down in order to move away from the scene, Shift Alt drag up to move into the scene. Obviously that would be a Shift Option drag either down or up on the Mac. All right, so I've written down a few specific position values that I'm going to enter in the options bar. The X value is already exactly right as is. It turns out negative 0.24. That's because we aligned that y-axis with that vertical guideline. I'm going to change the y value to negative 61. And then I'm going to change the z value as well by taking it to 10. And notice that that goes ahead and lifts the entire scene so that the rear of this extra large ground plane is just shy of the horizon line of the sea inside the photograph. All right, that takes care of our camera angle, but of course we should go ahead and save it by going up to the options bar, click on the floppy disk icon, and let's go ahead and call this guy straight on view, because after all, that's what it is, a straight on view of the overall scene. And then click OK, and that way we can come back to this view anytime we like. Now, obviously, the SUV is nowhere near where it ought to be, and we're going to remedy that situation using the Object tool in the next exercise.